Coffee, anyone? I said we'd enjoy the
Morning,
sunrise
everybody.
together.
Morning.
Morning, Kitchka.
Thanks for the bungees. Hey guys, I think I'm seeing a volcano erupting.
Where'd you see it? I
was
think she's looking at the Yucatan Peninsula.
No, it was east of all of that.
Oh, wow. You all just flash, right?
Wait a minute, what the hell is going on down there?
We gotta get out to the cupola. Now, guys!
Get out.
Get out, now!
Foster, let's go.
Get out, yeah. Foster, move!
Gabriela, it is wonderful to read with you and talk with you about this amazing film. All right.
Thank you.
I.S.S. Wow. For the first 15, 20 minutes, it's all good.
All good.
We got 3 astronauts from the U.S., 3 astronauts from Russia. They're all acting. These folks all love each other.
Yep.
And as soon as a little chaos happens below,
Right.
everything falls apart. And I think I will just start by saying that I thought you did an amazing job because along with your direction, the score, building the tension, heightening it throughout the film. You don't know who's going to stay sane, who's going to crack, who to trust.
There you go.
I know that the film was on the blacklist.
Right.
The screenplay was on the blacklist, and I could see why you wanted to do this. Talk about your motivation when you read this story. What spoke to you? Is it some of the elements that I brought up, or was it something else?
Completely. So it was, so Blacklist, script by Nick Schaefer. To me, I was sort of I remember reading the script and going like, why has nobody thought of this before? This is the raddest plot. Like, it's super cool, like just the bones of it, And then from then I was like, okay, but what, you have to ask, like, well, what could I bring to this? And, aside from wanting to play in a bigger sandbox and have bigger toys and all this VFX, which is cool, which, I hadn't been given, whatever, thousands of VFX type movies before. So I was like, okay, what I can bring to it is, I come from real life storytelling, like even the features are based on real lives. And then there's the documentary world as well. So it's like all this sort of like authenticity feel that I felt like I could bring to this kind of sci-fi world. Like, so take all that I know that I can do and take it to this place where I haven't been able to whatever, have chops yet, bring it to this world. And so anyway, so it was kind of bringing those together. And then to me, it was just like humanity. I mean, you look at it and you're like, I did remember thinking this could be a play, right? Like, this is just like 6 people and you just see chasms, right? And a tiny bit, you see some differences, but none of that matters, right? They only become people who see themselves as adversaries or see the other side as adversaries when they're told to, right? Well, like, we naturally, left to our own devices, we will love each other. We'll be like, what do we have in common? And we'll take that and kind of, go forward. And for someone to be like, no, that's not your friend. Well, why is that not your friend? Because we told you that's not your friend. Like, that's exactly war, right? That's exactly conflict. So anyway, so just watching that bear out in this distilled little world up there was what was so exciting to me.
Well, it's interesting when you were saying that about, because I totally missed that part when people are told which side to be on, because these guys were thick as thieves. But what I was thinking, it reminded me of an old Twilight Zone episode. I think it was called The Monsters Are on Maple Street, where you had this small community of people who were all friends. And then suddenly, when an element was introduced into the community, everybody literally went back to their basic instincts.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's what a lot of what this story reminded me of. And I thought, as I said, I thought you did an amazing job with it. You could feel it in your belly
Yeah.
as you're watching it with the score, like, this is not doing well for
Not
some
gonna go
people.
well. Yeah, totally. Right. You just like have this feeling. Yeah, I wanted that tightness, right? I want your stomach to be tight, like for 90 minutes. Like I just feel like I keep saying that, like, I come from like earnest storytelling, like just, that's what documentary is. But I'm like a popcorn chomping moviegoer. I love horror. I love comedy. I love thriller, and it was just sort of like that feeling like I just want you to be on the edge of your seat the entire time. And like when you hear something, you're just sort of like, I don't know if they're saying the whole thing right there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I can trust that, because like the moment you stop trusting somebody or you question somebody, you become distrustful. You become someone not worthy of trust, because it's like when you don't trust somebody, you're in your head going to start strategizing ways to protect yourself. Right. And that might come at their expense. So it's just like, that is when things start coming apart, that things start coming apart once you just see that little hint of distrust. And then it all gets bigger and bigger.
So let me make sure I get this right. The last time I talked to you, we had a movie about a young lady who had suffered some, I'm assuming it was PTSD, but she had this, I don't want to even call him a service animal, like this military
That's right.
uh
Canine unit,
animal.
full on. Yep.
Yeah. So
Yep.
you've gone from like one of these really small, intimate, tender stories to scaring the bejesus out of people in theaters with a sci-fi film out in like
Right.
horror out in space, but they're
Right.
no aliens. These are just regular people who have just
I know. I know. What
so
the
so what's next for you? I mean, I'm always curious because when you think about storytelling, your storytelling is great, right? Like I love Megan Levy, I love I.S.S. So it's clear that you can tell a story. What are you interested, or what genres, or who are you interested in working with or exploring, as you
right.
said, in this sandbox that's cinema?
Yeah. Right. Oh my gosh, it's such a good question. Whatever it is, like I want a little bit of the feeling of like, haven't quite done this before. Like I want that, right? Of I think that personally, and I think maybe a lot of people feel this, but I feel like sometimes like 60% of coming into a new project with excitement has to do with pure fear.
Right.
Has to do with like, I'm not sure. I don't even know. It's not even a question of can I do it or not. It's a question of like, I don't even know if like I should be doing, like, I don't even know if this will work, And so like having that feeling, I really had that during I.S.S. It was like, I'm hanging people from a gantry and like, and they're moving around and I'm like trying not to cross wires and it's still trying to evoke, performance and all this stuff. It was just like, is this even, you guys, what are we doing? Just cut bait. Like, this is crazy. And so sometimes you just sort of question yourself, but like, of course you have this vision and you think, but you don't know if it's going to work. So that feeling for me is good. It's just, I guess it's just pure adrenaline. Right. And so like being a little bit scared is something that I want out of the next script that I get or the next documentary that I make. So I want that. I want to try something that I haven't done.
So over the time, and I'm not sure exactly how long you've been a filmmaker, right? Because I really didn't research that.
Yeah.
But talk to me about how you've grown and evolved as a filmmaker, as a storyteller, and what lessons have you picked up along the way that you think will benefit you moving forward?
Right. What I feel like, I come from documentary, so about 20 years, been kind of started in that world, in that genre purely. Never even thought I'd be invited to do a feature, like a narrative feature, because I thought I didn't know anybody in the industry. I didn't, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I thought you had to like kind of go to film school or know somebody, and I didn't have any of those things. So I was just like, well, I never have to ask permission to do a documentary, right? You just go and do it. So I loved filmmaking, but this kind of feature world came to me through Blackfish. because there was some kind of featurey elements to it, right? It was a thriller. It was kind of whatever, trying to be kind of a different type of documentary. And so then I started doing that. So I guess what documentary had taught me about that, about the feature world, the narrative world, was we actually have been, because we never have good budgets on documentaries. So you have to learn camera, you have to edit, you have to sort of produce, like you're on set with people, you have to be comfortable with people not being what you thought they were. Like everything is up in the air with documentary. You walk in, people don't show up, people freak out, people like, these are real people. So
Right.
like agility, that was really helpful coming into narrative where people are complaining about like craft services. I'm like, yeah, I got this. Like all these problems are fixable, people, so like there was that feeling that I learned, that I took. But I guess having vision and sticking to your vision, and sort of fighting for it, is something that I truly believe that muscle. I've just kind of like, whatever, I've grown that muscle more and more. Like you just got to have an instinct. You just got to kind of know what to do.
Right.
And when people start coming at you and saying you've got to be a listener. You've got to listen to everybody, because best idea in the room wins. I don't care if it's the intern, so maintaining the listening, but also kind of like adhering to your vision, and ultimately protecting it. Like, you're not always making the same movie as, everybody else. And so sometimes you have to just sort of stick to your guns and just believe. And if that means people get pissed off or whatever, like fine. But like, because at the end they're going to be happy, because you're like, I promise it's going to be good if we do it this way. So
Right.
whatever, that just comes with confidence, and every creative will probably say the same thing.
I mean, you've been doing this for a minute, man. So, everybody's process is different. So all I can do is listen and go, yeah, I respect that. I respect that. That's how you're doing it. I respect that.
This is good. Right.
So my final question for you is, after watching I.S.S., I guess it would be easy if I asked you which of these characters you identified with, but think about being placed in a situation like that with people that you've known for years, and you have a situation like that. How, I mean, as a storyteller, you've given us the story, but how internally would that manifest if it happened to you? Like you and your husband, like you guys were placed in a situation with close friends, and all of a sudden things started to come apart. How do you see that playing out?
Totally. I'm a big, it's such a good question, and it's so cool. I'm a big believer in the mutiny. Like, just like all of us get together, right? And all agree that that's crackers, whatever they're doing, whatever's going on, they don't know what they're doing. Because they have no idea what they're asking of us. And like together we're the research, the fact that we're even here means that our brains are probably equipped for more solutions, and for figuring stuff out, than they even know. And so like, I'm just like, all right, guys, everybody get in the room, let's talk, let's figure out how to just pretend we're doing what they're saying, but not like whatever, but I'm like, that's my gut. I think sometimes leadership, and oftentimes leadership, just is wrong, is off, is misguided, doesn't think about the little people. You know, yes, could the world be an anarchy if like you took that advice all the time? Yes. But
Yeah.
like, nobody on earth has any idea what's going on up there on the I.S.S, like what they're doing, what they're enduring, and what they're capable of. So I think like in that situation, could there be another path? I would have encouraged that, and then probably been offed, probably would have been annihilated in a second. So don't know if that would have worked.
No, I hear you, but I do believe, as I said, that you made an amazing film. I.S.S. is in theaters on January the 19th. I cannot wait for your next film because I love my conversations with you, Gabrielle.
You're awesome. You're so awesome too. It's so good to see you again. You're the best, and thank you for watching this weird little film.
I liked it. I enjoyed it. And thank you and continued success. And I look forward to talking to you sometime in the future.
You're the best. Thank you so much. Enjoy the
You
rest of the
take care.
film.
You as well.